Geek Cross. Hi, my name is Anna and I'm a singer.
Hi, my name is Peyton and I'm a dancer.
And today, what are we doing today?
Today, we are back with episode 3 of our Getting to Know Ace series, and we will be watching their next music video, Colin.
This came out in October of 2017, so a few months after their debut. And yeah, as you may be able to tell, we are filming this the same day immediately after we just watched their debut. So, let's go! Yes. Oh, there was a cactus.
What would it say? Oh,
I don't know.
I'll pause later.
Okay. Ooh. Well, I think I got my wish earlier.
Your vocal wish?
Yeah. Oh, that was nice. They're doing that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 thing again.
All of the effects on the music video are really cool. Ooh.
Oh, nice. Triple lip.
Ooh. Oh, Canon.
Oh!
Canon back with the sound.
Oh! Oh, glasses. Oh? Why didn't it suddenly have... When Byung-wan sings, you can tell that he also raps.
Who?
Byung-wan. Are they gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 now? No? Oh. Oh. Delayed beat, yeah.
The dances are super connected.
Oh. You know how like the film cameras have the date in the corner? I don't remember their birthdays, but I'm like, is it like their birthdays or something? Because one of them said 97 on it as the year. So, I don't know.
First comment. To answer your question, yes, it is their birthdays. I went back and I double checked, and then it's their birthdays, and then it's also the date of the music video release once. So there's your answer. The second question, to answer my question from the beginning of the music video, I went back and looked to see what they were writing, and it's a Bible verse. So what it reads is, "Thou shalt increase my greatness and comfort me on every side." And so I looked up what Bible verse it was, and it's Psalm 71:21. And then later, after knowing that, I was watching the music video all the way through, and it actually says it in the music video. Like, the Psalms is scrambled, but I didn't notice that the first time. I was like, Oh, but that brought up many questions in my mind about like, is this song supposed to be like kind of religious or what? Just because there's obviously the crosses in it as well. In the dance, they do prayer hands, like they're talking, like they're praying. And my initial thoughts are, no, it's not religious, but it's actually just using the symbolism to reinforce the meaning of the song, because it's about like, call me, like I'll protect you, like you've gotten this far, like I'll help carry you through, that sort of thing, which I thought was very interesting. But then a couple of other things. So overall, the dance itself, especially when you watch the full like practice of it, it doesn't feel like a K-pop dance. A lot of the elements in it are things you don't really see in K-pop dances a lot, just because it's difficult to perform them live. Like one really great example is they do a push-up fall in this, where you actually fall through push-up plank position all the way to the ground, which first of all, it's really hard and it can really hurt your wrists when you do it, but like it's not seen in K-pop a lot because obviously like you can't really sing when you do it. I was like very intrigued. And there's other elements like that too. Another example is, again, they play with levels a lot, like they did in the beginning of Cactus, but in this one it's more through the whole thing. Like they go to the floor a lot, their dance itself plays with level change. And it's not that that doesn't happen in K-pop dances, it's just that it felt more pronounced here, to the point where it felt almost just like an actual choreography for a song, not like a song for a K-pop performance, because they are distinct. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that the reason for that is because it's another 1 Million choreography, because it feels like when you watch the 1 Million Dance Studio YouTube channel and like they have their choreographies for their classes and for their performances, that's what it feels like it's just a dance that you're performing. And I'm just going to assume that it's Kusung Jung again, because in their dance practice you can hear him counting in the background and it sounds like him, and also they're in a 1 Million studio, I'm pretty sure. And it's not to say that's like a bad thing or that like it detracts from it being like a K-pop song. In fact, I think I kind of liked it better because it felt more like watching a dance performance. It definitely makes it harder to perform and sing live though, so kudos to them. My kind of last comment, this dance has some really great examples of using movement to highlight effects in the song and in their voices. The best example of that is the one that Anna and I freaked out for in the middle of the song, where they do the cannon back down the line. And a cannon is just when you start, like everyone starts 1 count or 2 counts apart doing the same movement, so it's like rippling down the line and it ripples away with the music. And then the sound like comes back, gets louder, feels like it's coming back at you, and the movement comes back down the line, like forward to you. So that was a really, really cool effect if you couldn't tell by our reactions in the music video. But yeah, overall, the choreography itself, like it's super related to Cactus, which makes sense because like the structures of the song are pretty similar and also same choreographer. But that was why when I was watching it, I was kind of like, oh, like I don't think this is necessarily meant to be a follow-up, but it does feel like I'm kind of just watching part 2 of it. Which also does make sense though, because I know eventually this all ended up on the same album, so it's like a related like journey, I guess, adventure. Is that what we're gonna go with? But yeah, that's all I have to say. Anna's turn.
So I'm gonna start my comments kind of tied to Peyton's ending comments yet again, as I always do, because you were saying that this kind of felt like a follow-up of Cactus in terms of the dance, and I felt that way with the music too. During our break, Peyton was explaining to me too, because she's gotten around to watching it, but I haven't yet, that when they're on K-pop Daebak show, the podcast, and they were explaining how they have like 3 different categories of music. So there's like the adventurous one and the calling one and the emotional one. I'm assuming this one is the calling category because the song is also called Calling. Like that's what I mean. It definitely feels related to Cactus, and there are a lot of similarities, but also not exactly quite the same. One of the similarities is like the triplets that make you feel the beat in 6/8, and also like playing a lot with the synths again. But one very big noticeable difference is that like the verses very much more melodic, sentimental sort of, and like this was more vocal heavy, but like it does switch and move on later. So halfway through the first verse, they start the triplet notes. And actually when they start that, it feels like you're falling into something. And along with the music video, like that's when the filters start happening and like the different effects. And then like in the chorus, they have like the 2-part chorus where the second part is like the really heavy, intense, all the different synth layers are coming back and it's like sort of dance break moment, very heavy on the bass. But then it pulls back again and the second verse is very, very mellow, very sentimental. One thing that I will say though is, although the song does get like comparatively within the dynamics, I guess, of the song, the chorus is heavier. It is lighter than Cactus, which is another like slight difference because the synths that they use feel higher in pitch, like lighter, not as heavy and grounding. Also, I think it feels lighter because there's actually like a little bit of silence in this song during the chorus. I forget what the line is, but there's like those 3 punching sounds, and there's like slight, and everything cuts out except for those. So like there's a little bit of silence felt in between them. Those are also triplets. And then one small thing, the moment that we freaked out about that Peyton also touched on, it was really cool because one thing I was like, whoa, dynamics. One line is like crescendoing and then decrescendoing. And it's in the middle of the song, not like at the beginning, intro fade in or out, fade out. So I really like that. But one thing that I think would have been so cool and made it even more like is if it does that thing where it like comes in through one side and like out through the other, and if they match the sides with like how they were doing the canon like in that direction, that'd be cool. And then last things to talk about, I mentioned in the reaction that you can tell that Byungwan also raps, and just to clarify that a little bit, you only can really sense that the second time he sings during the second pre-chorus, just in the way like his diction, the starting and ending consonants have a little bit more bite to them. His vowel sounds, there's like an ah being sung somewhere, and instead of being like an ah, he verges closer to eh. I'm exaggerating for emphasis. Rappers tend to do that a lot, like verge on nasally or like come from your nose area a lot more just so that it's more piercing, because like they need to, I don't know how to say it, like direct it, like pierce, aggressively spit fire, basically. I don't know. The last thing that I wanted to say was I still haven't figured out what about it that I like so much, but during re-listening during our break, it's just second verse when Dongwon is singing, that there's the transition between the first phrase and the second phrase of his part. I don't know what it is about it, but I just really like it. It's only like 2 seconds, but yeah, that's it. I'm done. Why are you looking at me like that, Peyton?
You like Dongwon's part?
Why?
Interesting.
Do you want me to talk about Byungwan's part in Cactus? I'm
Well, I did
all
the
in.
TLDR in episode 2, so you have to do it this time.
Alright, so TLDR for this episode is we've reacted to Ace's first comeback, Colin. It was interesting to see the similarities, but also slight differences compared to Cactus, and how they were solidifying their brand and sound as a rookie group back then, 3 years ago. But I think so far we are very much intrigued and curious to see what their other songs sound like. Or in like performances too. Sorry. Dances too.
Alright, that being said, if you enjoyed this video and if you also love Ace and their song Colin, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and bye!